The top performers are proudly sponsored by Warrington Wolves Supporters Trust Squad Builder. Here are your top performers from round number 21 of the Betfred Super League. The top try scorer this week is Lewis Martin of Hull FC with 4. Also of Hull FC's the top try assister Will Price, he got 5. Whilst the top metre maker was Kyle Felt of St Helens, 231 metres. The most tackleables came from man of the match Lachlan Miller at the LSV, he got 12. Whilst the most clean breaks came from Lewis Martin once again, a magnificent 7. The most hard metres made down the middle, well, they came from Herman SASA, 174 for Hull FC. Whilst the top tackler once again was Jared O'Connor of the Leeds Rhinos with 51. And finally, the most goal kicks came this week from Zach Hardacre of Hull FC, 12 from 13 to dispatch Salford Red Devils. These are your top performers for round number 21. This production comes to you in association with the Bluebell Warrington. Situated in an 18th century building in the town centre and just a 5-minute walk from the HJ Stadium, the Bluebell is the perfect destination for pre- and post-game food and drink. The 2024 Warrington Pub of the Year is now the official home of Super League Raw on Warrington Wolves match days for both home and away supporters. Super League Raw are delighted to have agreed a members-only area, allowing our community to come together to discuss Rugby League pre- and post-match. So set your course to the Bluebell Warrington on match days and beyond. You are sure to be greeted with a warm welcome and a cold beer. Super League Raw and the Bluebell, the perfect partnership in enhancing your match day experience. So there you go, and there is the little one herself. Hello, little Amber, how are you? Big waves, hello. So I just saw there is a new member to the Rugby League family. Amber went to her first game at the weekend with Dad Joel. Wonderful memories there. Joel, what was it like taking your little girl to the match for the first time?
It was a feeling that was indescribable. I can only imagine what it felt like for my dad to take me to my first game, and now I kind of understand it. It was your first game, wasn't it? Good girl. And she absolutely loved it. The atmosphere was, even though we only had 3,000 at the ground, which I thought was pretty good, seeing as there was no Catalan fans, there was a really nice atmosphere outside. And there was a lot of little kiddies wandering around, and she was mesmerised. And I know you guys have been a few times and you've seen it where they're kicking the balls in between the posts outside and having a go. And you know, she was just enthralled with it. She loved the cheerleaders. At one point, she was dancing around with the cheerleaders as they were doing their outside performance, and they all thought she was pretty cute. So who knows? She might be a future cheerleader.
Well, at the end of the day, she's your lucky mascot as well. Big win for the Giants at the weekend. Yeah. Okay, then, little sweetheart. Did you enjoy seeing yourself? Was that good? Yeah. Okay, we'll let you get off and you look tired, baby girl. Right, let's get on with the show. Outstanding start to the show. Good evening to Mr. Sale. Hello, Steph. How are you?
Good evening, everyone.
Indeed. Greg, of course, still in Greece. Maybe he's watching us. If he is, get in the chat, Reginald. It'd be good to see you in the chat. And as it says there, the super chat is open. If you would like to buy us a drink this evening or a coffee, don't forget to ask a question. There's Bazza Kingston straight in. He's gone in straight in. Bazza, this one's got your name on it. Yeah, if you want to buy us a beer, then use the super chat function. Also, why not write a question whilst you're doing it, and we'll be sure to answer them throughout the show. Or you might just want to become a fully fledged member. All the details that you need to do that, just do that QR code throughout the show, and debate coming next. Have you got a fan on, Joel? Have you got a fan on? Because I can hear.
I have.
Yeah,
I do apologise.
Yeah, you need to turn that off, G. Yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna melt, then the least you can do is melt. Matty Timms, there you go. This is a bribe till the end of the season, says Matty Timms. He's got him on the super chat. No mentioning of Salford. I will give you a refund tomorrow, mate. Right, okay. Let's get straight into the show. Lots to get through tonight. We have got a packed show for you here on Super League Raw Weekly, and we'll tell you straight from the get-go: no swearing on Super League Raw. We don't do that. Never in a million years. That's all I'm going to say on that particular point. But yeah, no swearing. So if you're watching with young kids, do not worry. We will not be swearing on this show. Right. Very important business. The walk with Mickey Hyam on the 24th of August. That's not far away now. Please do continue to support Mickey, as Mark has gone in. He's bought us a pint. Well done, Mark. Outstanding. Mark straight in. He's saying, have a whiskey, Joel. Very kind of him indeed. Well done, Mark. Really appreciate that. But yeah, the Mickey I Am 24th of August. You can still donate to the GoFundMe page. And gentlemen, I have to say, the bench with John and Gemma and Mickey. If you've not watched it, ladies and gentlemen, watch that tomorrow. Steph, will start with you. Hard to watch, but an incredible watch.
Yeah, I thought it was a brilliant interview by Jenna and John. First of all, I thought they handled it with good humour and did the right way. It was incredibly touching. You know, it was a tough watch. As someone who knows Mickey, and obviously I got to introduce him to you at the league game a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, it was a tough one, but Mickey's a fighter, and if anyone can do it, he can. So yeah, it was a very, very tough watch, but very important messages in there for everybody.
Absolutely. And Joel, have you had a chance to see this one yet?
I've not. I saw a snippet of it, and I'm going to watch it tomorrow. But what I did see, and what I've heard about it, it sounds like it could be quite emotional. So I'm going to look forward to seeing that tomorrow.
Outstanding, mate. Absolutely brilliant. Well done to Jenna Brooks, John Wilkin, and of course to Mickey. It was a real quality half an hour. Make sure you catch that. Adam Reeves will be with us for the grand final. 43 of us now. Only Catalan Dragons not in attendance with Super League Raw. 43 of us sitting together. A full dayer with transportation, meals, the lot. It's going to be a great grand final, and Adam is now on board as well. Richard Fulas, good evening to you. He's not bothered with a question, but he's donated £2 to the cause of a coffee or a pint of lager. So well done to Richard. Really appreciate that. And Bazza, not quite understanding what your question is there, my mate. So if you want to go again, that's great. And Paul Fail, all the way from Canada, he also tipping us tonight here live on the show. Good to see you, Paul. Hope you are well. And Tom Messer, not to be outdone, he's also going in saying happy 2-year Challenge Cup anniversary to fellow Leifers. Absolutely. What a day that was for the Leifers. Right, a bit of Super League Raw business coming up this Friday. Saturday, will it? No, it's Friday. Of course, massive game on Friday. But if you're not going to Wigan against KR, Tony Smith, Stuart Pearce at the 4020 Lounge in Warrington. Of course, Squad Builder, a proud sponsor here at Warrington at Super League Raw. If you go over to Squad Builder on Facebook, all the details you need, still tickets available for Tony Smith and Stuart Pearce in conversation with Fraser Dainton. That should be a great event, and all proceeds will be going to send the Academy to Australia at the end of the season. Right, members, you're already included in this, but you might want to increase your chances. So Everton Stadium, 1st of November, it's sold out, but we are going to be giving away 2 tickets to the second Ashes test. That's right, 2 free tickets will be given to for the Ashes test. You've got to enter though, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not a member. 10 entries for £10. All proceeds going to grassroots Rugby League. That's on the 1st of November. All the details you need at the website www.superleagueraw.com. You've got to be in it to win it. Come and join Super League Raw at the Ashes Game 2 at the all-new Everton Stadium. The only way you're going to get to see that, perhaps, is with Super League Raw. Right, that's the business out of the way, boys. Let's get cracking on. Record breakers. Let's start there first and foremost. On behalf of everybody involved with Super League Raw, a big thank you and congratulations to the gladiators of our sport who did some incredible milestones at the weekend. Ash Hanley, 250 appearances now in his career. Darryl Clark, 400. Incredible effort from Clarkey. 100 for Warrington Wolves for George Williams. Mark Sneed has moved ahead of Paul Deacon to stand alone now in 3rd place in the Super League's all-time leaders when it comes to goal kicking. He's behind Danny Brough and Kevin Sinfield. He's got a chance of catching Brough. He's only got to do another 40 or so. Every chance he could do that, but I think Sinfield is well out of range. Adam Kieran, 100 career appearance for him. Sam Luckley, 200. Joe Westerman, 200 for the Castleford Tigers. George Lawler, 150 in Super League. And Tom Briscoe got the try that moves him ahead of Leon Price. Now he stands alone in 9th place. Next up for him, if he can do it, he's sitting on 174 tries. He's Ryan Atkins on 186. Gentlemen, you will join me in congratulating the gladiators of our sport on some wonderful achievements.
Yeah, fantastic effort by all those players, and we should be celebrating it more. You know, it's good that we do pick those milestones out for these players and really celebrate them.
Yeah, that'll be a new feature next year. We'll give it a bit more razzmatazz than that. But for now, here we go. Outstanding stuff. Everybody in the chat, great to see you all. Greg Roach is with us this evening. Andy Bevan's with us as well. Kerry Robinson, hello, Kerry. Hope you're well as well. Red V and Andre. I've not seen that one before. Interesting. Didn't see Kyle Amor asking for £2 for a question. Well, we're not asking £2 for a question. We're asking people, do they want to support the show? Red V, Andre. Get with it, Chief. You know, don't take offence. Just go with the flow. The fact that people are doing it tells you we're a good show and people want to support the channel. Just saying, Chief. Anyway, there you go. Right, let's get on with it. Let's not waste any time on that. We're going to kick off with the Coach of the Month for July. It's probably the easiest Coach of the Month that we've had this season. The only coach to be undefeated in July. Every one of the others lost at least one. Before we announce the winner, pretty obvious who it is, we've got to give a shout out to Paul Wellens and to Darryl Powell. They both only lost a game in the month of July. Wakey, of course, losing to Leeds, and Saints lost to Lee. So to be fair, not too bad. Is that right, Leeds? Wakey wins. Oh, no, they lost to FC. My apologies. FC and Lee. So, yeah, not bad defeats, but a really good effort. Wakey, they beat Catalan, they beat Huddersfield, and they beat Leeds. And Saints, of course, they beat FC, Leeds and Cass in the month of July. But the man that stands alone, and what a run it was, is this man. Had to be Adrian Lamb, Coach of the Month for July here at Super League Raw, and rightly so. What an incredible run. Joel, I'll start with you as the non-Lafer on the panel. At the start of that run, they'd have probably said we'd take 2 points, 3 would be a great achievement. To walk away with all 4 was incredible, wasn't it?
It's a really hard achievement to have, is that? Especially with how the league's shaping up and the competition's getting better, more fierce. The teams that were in the lower part of the league now are being able to compete with ones higher up. So to be able to win 4 in a row is a massive achievement, and I think that just screams just how well Adrian Lamb's been doing. As clearly he's got a team there of players who want to play for him and each other, and that's all part of the culture that he's a part of and helping bring to the club. And I think it's great. So a massive well done to Adrian and the Lee Leopards.
Absolutely, couldn't agree with you more. And all I would say to Peter Barley, who's saying it's not enough for a pint, hey, mate, as far as I'm concerned, that can has filled that pint glass. Don't you worry about that, sir. Don't you worry about that. Good man, well played. Right, Steph, I mean, I'm sure you'll want to pay tribute to your coach. I think you would agree. If you'd have got 3 points, you'd have thought you'd have swum the challenge. To come away from that strength of opposition with all 4 was incredible.
It's been a brilliant July for Lee and for Adrian as well, and that with injuries as well to key players, Robbie Mulhern and Ethan O'Neill didn't feature for at least 3 of those games or 2.5. So it was a phenomenal month for Lee and really cemented their place in the playoffs. Really good time in the year as well to put that kind of form together. But obviously the loss to Leeds has probably reset that a bit, but that came in August. So no, phenomenal effort from Lammy, and all the Leeds fans were over the moon to get 4 wins out of 4 with them fixtures.
Absolutely. Incredible performance from the Lee Leopards. Well done to Adrian Lamb for guiding them to those 4 wins. It had to be him this month. Many congratulations to him indeed. Right, okay. Great to see everybody in the chat this evening. There are no chains being flushed, Paul. Joel, I can confirm he's not in the Kazi. I can confirm that he certainly isn't, albeit I do see where you're coming from. But no, I can assure you that is not his latrine. Right, okie dokie. With that, it's now time to announce the Super League Raw Team of the Month for July. And let me tell you now, a lot of people are going to be surprised by this one. But as you know, just to bring people up to speed who are joining us for the first time, these players have played all 4 games in July. We have, of course, put the second half of round 20 into July. I know some of those games were played on the 1st of August, but to get a balanced scorecard, we included those games in the month of July. So we got a balanced scorecard when we were doing these picks, okay? We look across all the 4 games. This is about consistency, not about one-off games, but they've all played all 4 games and fully deserve to be in there. We'll have a chat around it in a moment, but ladies and gentlemen, here it comes. The Team of the Month for July from Super League Raw.
Take a look at you and me. Are we too blind?
Team of the Month is sponsored by David Presley as Elvis. If you want your wedding all shook up, contact David Presley today. It's time to announce the Super League Raw Team of the Month for July. And at fullback will be Tristan Saylor of the Saints. He scored a try. He made 5, made 14 tackle busts, 9 offloads, 87 carries for a whopping 680 metres. On the wing is Lachlan Walmsley of Wakefield Trinity. 4 tries, 5 breaks, 13 busts, 28 tackles, 74 carries for 582 metres. At centre is the Lee Leopards wrecking ball, Tessie New. He scored a try. He made 1, 31 busts, 3 breaks, 64 carries for 588 metres. Alongside him will be the Wigan Warriors, Jake Wardle. He scored 4 tries, made 1, 12 tackle busts, 4 clean breaks, 44 carries for 249 metres. On the wing is Budgie Joe Burgess, 6 more tries and assists, 5 breaks, 14 busts, 51 carries for 575 metres. At standoff is Max Jowett, 3 tries, 3 assists, 7 busts, 19 goals, 46 carries for 269 metres. At halfback will be his partner Mason Lino, 1 try, 7 assists, 18 attacking kicks, 48 in general play. He really did marshal around really well, 53 carries for 233 metres. At prop, and last month's player of the month, it is Caius Fiatilli, keeping his place, 102 tackles, 91% efficiency, 11 busts, 3 offloads, 46 carries for 352 metres. At hooker is Brad O'Neill of the Wigan Warriors. He scored a try, made 2, 111 tackles, 8 runs from dummy half, 4 tackle busts, 107 metres. At prop is Alex Walmsley, 73 tackles, 96% efficiency, 4 offloads, 13 busts, 68 carries, adding 482 metres to his top metre-making haul from a front rower. At 11 is George Lawler of the Castleford Tigers. He scored 3 tries, made 173 tackles at a 96% efficiency, 4 busts, 29 carries for 247 metres. He's in great form. At 12 will be Jed Cartwright of Hull FC. He scored 2 tries, he made 106 tackles, 97% efficiency, 9 tackle busts, 42 carries for 296 metres. And at 13 will be Isaac Liu of the Lee Leopards. He had 5 busts, 135 tackles at a 92% efficiency. He carried the ball 44 times, he made 314 metres. That's an average of 7.1 metres a carry. And this one on the bench will be Lachlan Lamb of the Lee Leopards, Jared O'Connor of the Leeds Rhinos, Paul Vaughan of the Warrington Wolves, and Joe Opengoe of the Lee Leopards. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your team of the month for July. So there you go, the team of the month. Baz Hussain did Jowett playing the half. No, he didn't. He played 2 and 2 at fullback. But quite frankly, when you looked at the standoff positions and looked at Jowett, his performance, I had to get him in there. Simple as that. So I'm not being funny, mate. He was outstanding, deserves to be in there. So that's why he's in there. Boys, good to see so many different coloured shirts, which is great to see. Steph, do you want to start off?
Yeah, I think Sailor's been brilliant this month and proving the data's wrong, in terms of how he's been performing in that fullback position for Saints. And no coincidence with their form alongside Walmsley as well at Saints. Them two have been brilliant for them. Budgie's been phenomenal for KR and carried on that run as well into August. So someone's asking in the chat there, does he come into contention for the England Ashes? I think he absolutely does. I think he's been superb. And just to back up on what you said about Jarrett's been outstanding for Wakefield in July.
Yeah, absolutely. Incredible, Jowett. It really has been top draw. Of course, Mikey Lewis missed the game in July. Joel, your take on that team of the month?
Yeah, you can't really argue with that team there. I think there's always the honourable mentions that you could possibly put in, but when you're looking at the type of stats that came up for each player, you kind of see why that they're in this month. No surprise at all to see 4 trim players. You would always hope to see some Lee players in there, with Adrian Lamb being the coach of the month. I think I'd be quite worried if they weren't. And seeing George Lawler, it's nice to see somebody who was down the pecking order in the league table, part of that squad as well. So it's a nice blend, and it's always good to see Alex Walmsley, even at the age he is, almost drawing out his pension, still making team of the month, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, Walmsley's been just simply superb. Absolutely superb this season. Real quality from Walmsley. Right, you know the rules by now. Don't put it in the chat just yet, but at the end of the show, we will, of course, be announcing, and hopefully for the first time in 3 months, we'll do it right, the current player of the month for July here from Super League Raw. It's got to be a 1 to 13er. It can't be somebody on the bench because they weren't good enough to start. That's the way we do it. The bench, of course, was introduced this year. They all still get, though, 2 points towards the Super League Raw trophy if they're on the bench. But like I say, only a 1 to 13er will get the honour of player of the month for July. We will ask you that question a little bit later and remind you who was in the 1 to 13 when we come to that part of the show. But that is the team of the month for the month of July. Right, okay, we move on. Who has been the standout young player of 2025? I did say that we would have a little chat about this. It came up last week, and we said, why not? We'll make that a discussion point on this week's edition of Super League Raw Weekly. Before we actually get into who I believe to be the contenders, and before we go for the obvious, so I'll just position that with Joel and Steph. Before we go for the obvious, let's start considering some players who I think probably will not be in contention, but still deserve an honourable mention. I'm going to kick off. I mean, have a think about it from yourselves in terms of young players. For anybody who is unaware, to win Young Player of the Year, you must be under 21 at the start of the season. That is the caveat to be Young Player of the Year. So anybody who was over 21 at the start of the season isn't eligible for the award at the end of season dinner at the Steve Prescott Manisteel dinner. So I'm going to go with Aspiro Bichet. He's nowhere near Young Player of the Year, but he's had a great year. I thought he got off like a real train, I have to say. I thought he did really, really well. He'll still be in the reckoning for next year. He is young enough. But I think as the season's gone on, he's faded a little bit. But he has stood out for me in what has been a very poor Catalan side. And I think the future is very, very good indeed for Espero Bichet. Joel, apart from the obvious, any young players that have caught your eye this season?
Yeah, I think Walmsley, young Walmsley.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be certainly within the discussion. Sorry?
Lachlan Walmsley.
Yes.
Nice to old, mate.
Why, how old is he?
You've got to be under 21, mate. Lachlan's older than that.
Oh, is he? Oh.
Yeah.
My
Okay.
apologies then.
But he has been outstanding. You're quite right. Steph, anybody from you?
Say I was impressed with Whitby. I know he's not going to be in contention for it, but I think he's been very good when he's played for Saints, and I'm impressed with Myers as well at Wakefield. I think I'm sure he qualifies. He's
Maybe touch and go. That I'd have to have a look. That'll be touch and go.
I'll have a look.
He's been around. I think he's been thereabouts for a while. I mean, other players. Owen Dagnall. I think Owen Dagnall will stand a very good chance maybe next year. He's had 10 appearances up to now. I mean, if you remember when we give out our, for me personally, a Man of Steel, a young player, Steve Prescott, Man of Steel, a young player of the year, should be at least doing 20 games in a 27-round comp to that right. Dagnall's not going to be able to do that. He's been incredible, and I think his time might come next year if he carries on the way he's going. I think at Warrington, Aaron Lindop would have been in contention had his injury not been there. He'll be still in contention next year. Kai Taylor is going to be interesting with the Matt Duffy piece next year. Will Kai Taylor get a few more appearances? Jake Fulis, 14 appearances for Wire this year, hasn't looked bad on the wing, had a decent try haul as well. Riley Lum, 16 appearances, obviously loaned out to Salford. Again, got off to a real good start for Leeds, faded a little bit, but he's had a great season. Jack Farman, only 11 appearances. He's unlikely to make the 20, but he'll probably his name will be bounced about and thrown about a little bit. And I think we'll all be looking forward to seeing Declan move. I'm not sure when he turns 21. I think he's 19 actually.
Myers is 21.
Is he 21? So when was he 21?
December. Well, he was signed in December and he was 21 then.
Right, so he won't be eligible.
Yeah, well.
How old's Noah Stevenson?
Start of the season.
November. Season starts November. The season
starts
in November.
Pre-season. Oh, right, okay. So he's in there. He's in there. In that, I always thought it was the first game kicked off, but I will bow to your knowledge if that's the case, Mr. Sale. Declan Murphy, like I say, will he get enough games at KR next year? That's the question for me. Will he get enough games? But for me personally, and look, we voted him there, young player of the year who wins. I put Fireman in the picture because I do think his name's going to be bandied about. But for me, it's a two-horse race. It's between Flanagan and it's between Robertson. Would either of you argue that point?
No.
Okay, so we're all in agreement with regards to that. Both of these two players for me have been exceptional. Of course, had Robertson not had an injury, he'd probably be on more appearances than 16. Statistically, for their age, it's phenomenal stats, incredible stats. For those listening on the podcast, Flanagan has scored 8 tries, Robertson 11. Flanagan has made 2, Robertson 3. Flanagan has made 54 busts to Robertson 67. Carries 192 for Flanagan for 1,056 metres. Robertson 185 carries for 1,457. It's not Robertson's fault he doesn't kick, but Flanagan does. 34 goals as well for the Giants at a 79% efficiency with the boot. And when we've been doing captain's run and we've been looking at conversion rates this year, Steph, it hasn't been a great year for goal kicking. So believe me, Flanagan in terms of efficiency is right up there in terms of his efficiency. In terms of clean breaks, Robertson 13 to Flanagan's 10. Right, okay. I mean, I'll start with you, Joel, because you've probably got a soft spot for the man on the left. Why, George Flanagan, does he pick Robertson in your eyes, or do you think it's Robertson? Which way would you go?
Well, the word that everyone keeps saying, and I'm now starting to adopt with him, is superstar. They're saying that he's got them qualities of being a superstar in him, and the way he plays reminds me of old Sam Tompkins, which I kind of hate to say, but it's kind of good for us in a way. The way he's able to move and sidestep people and he's just got the kind of feet. when they say he's a natural rugby player, he's had a ball in his hand since he was, from birth. You can see it because he's just got that in his skill set. Just naturally, he's such a good player. His defense is going to work on, but he's just young. And any young player, unless he's a forward or a prop, he's always going to have to work on his defense from being young. But he's even worked on that, and he's got a lot better.
Yep.
You look at the try he saved when we played Hull FC. Had that not have happened, it could have been a totally different game. And it was him that was the last line of defence and stopped it. But yeah, he keeps being branded as this potential superstar, and I'm starting to see it now. And I said to him, at the game, I said, please stay with us. Don't sign anywhere else, because we need players like George in the team to push on.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been a revelation, an absolute revelation, and he's critical, absolutely critical. I was going to do this in hanging and banging, but seeing as though it's come up in the chat, Simon Shaw's asked the question. Evels signing for 2 years. I have to say, Joel, and we'll just come off piste a little bit because we do roll with it. I'm surprised at this. No fault of Niles, how long he's been out injured. That's not his fault. Injuries happen. But the fact that he has been injured and the amount of injuries that Huddersfield have had this season, you'd have thought that Huddersfield might have think, can we afford to do this? And especially with Flanagan, who for me has to start over him. I think I see Flanagan at fullback, not in the halves. You've got other players like Gagai, Tuilolahea, who can deputise at fullback if need be. You know that Clune's coming back. What's going to happen with Frawley? Really surprised they've signed Evels for 2 years. Don't get me wrong, Evels is a class player. But are you surprised that they've gone and signed him up for 2 more years based on what's happened this year?
No, not so much. And that's just because I know Luke and I know what the way he works. He wants players like Flanagan to be playing, but he also understands that he doesn't want to stump his growth. I don't think Flanagan's the type of player where you need to take him out for a while. I think he's the type of player, because he's played for so long, that he needs to be playing. So to have someone like Niall in the team, because remember, Niall can play more than just fullback. So if needs be, if George is going to stay at fullback, and that answers the question, yes, I think George will stay at fullback, provided he plays as well as he is doing, then it may afford Niall to be moved to other positions. Of course, someone would say that's quite stupid because Niall is a fullback and he's a very good fullback. But the question looms, though. Now he's had 2 injuries within the season on his first game, and he's not played more than one half. Are they serious questions to be asked? And I think they certainly are. I can see why they've signed him, because when he is fit and he's playing and he's not injured, he's a wonderful player, is Niall. But I see with the experience that he's got, he can slot into other positions, and I think George needs someone like Niall to learn from, because there's parts of Niall's game that George could emulate and use that would make him a more complete package. So I can see Niall being a part of the team, whether it be at fullback or not. I'm not sure, but at the moment, George has got himself cemented in there.
Yeah, I mean, a shout for Eckersley by Steph's reckoning. Was it the first of November?
Yes.
Yeah, well, so Eckersley was 21. So he'd sneak in Eckersley. That'd be a shout. I say. But that said, he sort of landed last year, Eckersley, for me. They tend to go for somebody who's broke out, don't they? A little bit at times. Does the fact that Flanagan's playing for Huddersfield make his bid for this more impressive in your eyes, Steph?
It does. I think the only thing that goes against him is that it seems to be even when he's been fit, he's not been selected. He's not playing in every game, and I think this is what differentiates Robinson a little bit. Robertson's not been in the team as much because of injury this season. He missed a few games, didn't he? But I think Robertson had his breakout season last year, but this year he's really cemented that place. He's undroppable, isn't he, in that position? Whereas Luke has dropped Flanagan for a few games, not because of performance, but just to protect him more than anything. So I can see Flanagan going into next year. I think there's a really good shout for Martin in the chat as well.
Yeah, that's a shout. Yeah, Martin's a shout.
He's only 20 years old, Martin. So
Yeah.
he's another one that would be right up there with these two for me.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly got people chatting. It's certainly got people chatting. I think, what we know is that, this year, I think, these two, all of the people that are being mentioned in the chat as well, the future's bright. The future is so bright, and we yet to find out who the next crop are, because every year more come to the future, to the fore. And of course, with the 14-team comp, it's going to create even more opportunity for the next crop of young stars to establish themselves in Super League. I think it's going to be absolutely marvellous. Absolutely marvellous. One young star who's not as young as he once was, but went over to the NRL, Lewis Dodd. What do we make of that this week, lads? Lewis Dodd being told that he can look for other options. Seems like he wants to stay in the NRL, because bottom line is somebody's going to have to pay him out of his contract, aren't they? And that's not going to be a Super League team. So he's got to be staying in the NRL. But do you feel for him, or do you agree with NRL 360 that, quite frankly, probably should never have been bought in the first place?
Yeah, I wouldn't really like Super League, because it's whether Satis going to be prepared to pay some of his wages as part of it. So this is why I think he could be a decent pickup for someone in Super League, because you can pick him up on, if they're going to get a portion of his wages paid, you may be able to get him on squad player money. Whether Lewis would want to come in as a squad player, I've already said, it'd be a brilliant signing for Lee as a cover. But I don't think he would come as cover player. That's the big difference. But definitely you could see someone like a Toulouse or a York or a Bradford or any of those clubs coming up, having him as their marquee player. That would be a very good sign for any side coming up that were signing someone of his quality.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam Walsh is creating havoc in the chat, saying that the young player of the year won't be coming from Hull KR. You nasty man. Unbelievable. There you go.
Doro's not a bad player.
Who isn't?
Doro.
No. Doro's done well, hasn't he? Doro's done well. Yeah, he's done well, Doro.
I could see a team like us or Cass wanting to get like a Lewis Dodd. Whether you want to go there or not, but they're the clubs that you know that would be looking to get him, because he's not going to go to a top 6 side.
No. That said, beware of Warrington. That's all I would say.
Top 6.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, there is that, isn't there? There is that. But anyway, there you go. All interesting stuff. Right, let's quickly dip into the championship. Incredible. Status quo preserved week on week. It's as you were in terms of the top 4. But yeah, no boo being mentioned there by Bazza. That's a proper straw being clutched there, isn't it? Right, Bradford 18-12 over Doncaster. Good win for the Bradford Bulls. Halifax 46, Sheffield 6. York 56-0 away to Hunslet. Another big statement of intent. I think that's like 12, maybe 13 games on the spin now, or maybe more, that York have won. I mean, they're an incredible form of York. London 18-24 to Toulouse. That was a big win for Toulouse. And Oldham getting past Barrow in almost a Leeds Lee fest, 44 points to 30. Lots of tries on show there. And the Widnes Vikings getting a win over the Batley Bulldogs, 30 points to 10. This week, it's a bye round for the Bulls. Toulouse, of course, very much in the shake-up. They're playing Sheffield. Barrow at Widnes. Batley versus Oldham. Oldham away. Can they keep their form up? Doncaster against Ferriston. Halifax against Hunslet. And then York will play London at home. We'll keep an eye on this, because it's got to be said, boys, it's a shame it's not being shown on the TV, but the championship is, IMG, who's coming up and all the rest of it. It couldn't be better. I mean, for me, there should be more noise being made about the championship because of what's about to happen at the end of the season, because it really is game on, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And you're right, even more so now, because we know there's 2 going to be coming up as a minimum, if not 3. So everybody should take an interest. Not that they shouldn't anyway, and it's just such a shame that some of these games aren't covered, because you get some cracking games in the championship. But yeah, everyone should be definitely taking more of an interest now, and learning some of these players' names, because there's some great players in the championship as well.
Absolutely. Oliver asked Ollie, what would Oliver say? Is Regan Grace confirmed at York? It's still rumour. Has he signed Grace? I haven't seen an official sign. I've seen the rumour. I certainly haven't seen him sign.
Nothing official.
Want to a few of those bits and pieces in a minute when we get to hanging or banging. Matt Timms, good lad, Matt. He's got in there. Keep the championship content in for next year, lads. Why would that be, Matt? Why would that be? Good man, well done, Matty Timms, legend of Super League Raw. Outstanding stuff. Raised a lot of money for Alfie Sales as that man, and of course a proud Salford Red Devils fan. Right, for the last time this season, the next time we're going to be doing this, we're going to be announcing the winner. But let's just dip in for the final time for the runners and riders for this year's Player of the Year Awards. It's time for your final update for the 2025 Player of the Year Awards with just 6 rounds remaining. Starting with the Albert Goldthorpe Medal. Leading the table is Magic Mikey Lewis on 24 points. In joint second, Aidan Caesar of Hull FC and Jay Connor of the Leeds Rhinos on 23 points. Lachlan Lamb is in 4th place on 21 points. And in joint 5th place is Jai Field and Mason Lino off Graphic on 16 points. The Steve Prescott Man of Steel. Well, after 15 rounds, it went behind closed doors. Jake Connor, of course, was leading Herman SASA by 5 points on 21 points. Also in the top 5, Jai Field on 15 points, Aidan Caesar on 13, and Mikey Lewis on 12. The Super League Raw Trophy 2025. We have joint leaders, Mikey Lewis and Jake Connor, both on 32 points. In 3rd place, Lachlan Lamb on 27 points. And we have 2 new entries. Jack Broadbent of Hull KR is on 25 points. And Tristan Saylor of St. Helens is also on 25 points. These are the Player of the Year award tables after 21 rounds. So there you go, Joel. After 21 rounds, that's how they're shaping up. Mikey Lewis, Jake Connor doing well in them all. Our own Super League Raw trophy. Surprised me when I did the calculations. 2 new entries, Tristan Saylor and Jack Broadbent now in the top 5, which might surprise a lot of people. But of course, it's about consistency, the Super League Raw trophy. For those who don't know, we do the 3-2-1 exactly like they do for the Goldthorpe and the Man of Steel. But anybody using Team of the Week gets an extra point. Anybody using Team of the Month gets an extra 2 points. And any player who wins Player of the Month gets an extra 3 points to reward consistency across the season. And that's why Saylor and Broadbent have done so well, because they've been in a lot of Team of the Weeks. And they've been in the points an awful lot of times. And of course, let's not forget, Jack Broadbent was one of our players of the month this year as well. A couple of Team of the Month ones for them as well. But just to give a little bit of context, what's underneath that, I thought I'd show people the top 10 for the Super League Raw trophy. And this is how it looks. So on 32 points and leading, it's Connor and Lewis. Then, of course, standing alone is Lockie Lamb. We've just done the 25 pointers, Broadbent and Saylor. Then with 24 points, Herman SASA and Mason Lino, who's had an exceptional season for the Wakefield Trinity. Then it's Jai Field with 22. And then all on 20 points, Tessie New, Caius Fiatilli and Petter Hiku. Steph, having seen the top 10 for Super League Raw, anybody surprised that isn't there? Or do you think, fair enough, that's a pretty decent representation on how these guys have played?
Well, you'd have to say Caesar based on the Man of Steel, points there. But obviously, we do ours slightly different. We believe it's a bit more in depth and rewarding consistency. So no, I think that's you get a great team out of those players, wouldn't you?
You would indeed. You would. And it's nice, Joel, to see players that perhaps at the start of the season you wouldn't have thought would be there. I mean, Tristan Saylor came with a lot of plaudits, and people expected him to hit the ground running. He did. He didn't really do that, but he has. I mean, the last two and a half months he's been exceptional, and that's where a lot of his points have come from. Broadbent, versatile. Would you have thought he'd be top 5 at this stage of the season in our Super League Raw trophy? Probably not. Mason Lino returning to Super League. Caius Fiatilli's come from nowhere, as Tessie New. So there's at least 5 players there, Joel. At the start of the season, you wouldn't have expected to have been in this company, would you?
Yeah, and especially you look at Mason Lino. If for those that haven't been as eagle-eyed or that isn't a Trinity fan, Mason Lino didn't actually play in the first few weeks of the season. He couldn't get a game because Ollie Russell was playing.
That's right.
So Mason, I think, was it the first 4 or 5 games he missed? 4 or 5 weeks?
He was out for the first few. I couldn't tell you exactly how
Yeah.
many. Certainly out for the start of the season.
So for him to be able to leapfrog all them players and get to where he is now, and to find the form that he did in such quick fashion, I think shows a lot about the kind of player that he is, because he had to bide his time playing in Super League, jumping on to Championship, not leaving Wakefield, and then coming back up and playing like he is doing. It shows that dedication to your club, can yield some lovely fruitage, and he's seeing that. And then Jack Broadbent, he's not the flashiest of players that you see, but I'll tell you something. What we love about Jack Broadbent here is that he knows where the try line is, and he knows how to get his teammates to the try line. He's game smarts. He's up there with the best of them, and he's also had to do it tough. But now he's found himself in a very, very top team, and he's playing extremely good rugby.
Absolutely. And I think what people need to remember is, and let's not forget, we have a segment called Cucumber Sandwiches. You'll be doing it again today. Yeah. Some players, what we do is we celebrate all players. So this is a stat that not many people will know. This season, we have awarded points to 177 Super League gladiators. That's 50% if we're saying there's a 30-man squad. I know it's a bigger than a 30-man squad, but if you base it on a 30-man squad, nearly 50% of the Super League players we have awarded at least a point to, which is about right. You'd expect that. You'd expect week in, week out it to be moved around. It's too easy to give Lockie Miller 3 points every week because he does 200 meters. If he's doing 200 meters going from left to right, he's not, he's not creating any yardage. And don't get me wrong, Lockie Miller does create yardage. But this, the way we do the points, it's about consistency. It's about consistency. In terms of, at the start of the season, if you look back on when we've been dipping into these at rounds 5, 10, 15, Aidan Caesar's been up there, but he's dipped. He's dipped. I mean, and he had a great first 10, 12, 13 rounds, but since then he's dipped. He's only just outside. He's on 19 points, but he's dipped, and that's why he's not in the top 10. He still could come back. He could do. But this is what I mean, folks. You've just got to put faith in what we do. We're into the detail. 177 players, rightly so. We don't just go, for example, I'll go back to that wonderful man of the match performance that Patrick Mago did in 15 minutes. You're not going to see that at Super League Raw. Absolutely ridiculous. So like I say, we get into the detail. We stand by it. We believe this is the right way to do it. It's more than a 3-2-1 in a game. It's about consistency, and we track consistency, and that's why it is the top. There you go. Right, outstanding stuff. So congratulations. The next time we go into that, we will be announcing the Super League Raw Trophy winner for 2025. We'll look forward to doing that. Right, it's now time for this. Banging or hanging?
This is what would Oliver say at Super League Raw. I'm really excited for the top of the league clash on Friday night, and I've been reading the preparation for the game. I've noticed that there's a lot of focus on the French and Lewis battle, but I think the main battle is between Hiku and Wardle, who are two amazing players. I think Hiku has been in incredible form this season, showing his physicality throughout, and also what I've been particularly impressed with is his discipline, and the meters he is making is phenomenal. However, Wardle is also having a fantastic season, scoring tries all over, and has scored 13 tries so far this season. I think this will be the main battle. What do you think, Super League Raw?
What do we think, Super League Raw? Well, before we get into that, we have breaking transfer news live on the show tonight. It is true. The rumours are true. Oliver replaces Steph on the Captain's Run 2026. Only joking. But no, hey, I tell you what, the guy gets. He's a clever lad, that lad. He really, really is. And rightly so, boys. He's getting excited for the big game on Friday. And Steph, I'd agree. I think there's no doubt Hiku up against Wardle is box office, isn't it?
Yeah, and Wardle's coming to a bit of form again now. We've been a bit critical of him this season by Wardle's own standards. But no, I think he's been great this last few weeks, and Hiku's been outstanding all season. So he's absolutely right. Two of the best centres in the comp going head to head. Going to be pivotal for both those players to play well, and whoever does, most probably will end up on the winning side.
Absolutely, we'll get into more detail with regards to that. We'll probably have a good chat around that game, and we won't apologise for it either. I think we've got to get into the ribs of that a little bit this evening. We've been waiting that long, boys. It'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? I have to laugh though. Adam Walsh, take a bow on the graphic for our Super League Raw trophy. He said Phil looks lost without French on the graphic. Good lad, Adam. Great banter. Joel, he talks. There you go. Mark Hill. Ollie talks better than I do. Mark Hill's relegating himself to the bench on final whistle now. Ollie's taking over from him. Well done, Mark. But Joel, look, we've been waiting for this all year. He's right to get excited about the game. We're all excited about the game. In terms of key matchups today, let's have a little chat about this. We'll dip into it in a minute. One of the ones that we're really looking forward to is Mikey Lewis being in the halves for KR. Listening to Willie Peters' pre-match press conference, it pretty much sounded to me like Lewis is playing. And if he's not, it's one of the best poker faces he's ever had, because he did give the impression, the way he was talking about Mikey was very much about putting himself in the shop window for the Ashes underneath the nose of Sean Wayne. That, for me, is going to be a great battle. Harry Smith, of course, people would expect him to start alongside Williams. But if Mikey has a man-of-the-match performance, that in itself is a great narrative, isn't it, going into this game?
It certainly is, and if that does play out the way we think it will, the battle there is all over the pitch. It'll be electrifying. You've got two of the most incredible players that the league's had in probably a long time, that possibly, we should say, are playing that night. And then obviously when Ollie comes out and he speaks, we have to stop and listen. Because certainly it's not just the only battle. It's nice to see in the games that we've got, especially this year, and I think we're going to see this rolling into next year. It's not just the one battle anymore; it's the 2 or 3 battles with different positions, and that's the kind of players that we're attracting in Super League. And if the likes of Mikey is going to stay in Super League, which we'd love him to do, then we're going to see more of this, and we're going to attract more players. So, but Ollie, great vision there of seeing who's another matchup for us to watch out for, because I'm looking forward to that.
Fair enough. Adam Reeves in the chat again. No wobble, but we are going to do maybe a bit of wobbling along the way. There's a few in my head, is what I would say. And who knows, last week we got a couple in the chat, so beware. Aidan Simpson says Wardle will be a man of the match performance on Friday. Richard Greaves saying that Mikey Lewis is a great player, but he's too confident. I don't know how he can be too confident, but it's all about opinions. And he freezes in big games. That could travel well next week. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Jay Red, Connor and Lewis for England, the 2 best halves this year. That ain't happening. I pretty much guarantee that certainly isn't happening. No doubt about it. Right, okay. Cy Shaw mentioning this point, Liam Moore versus Wigan penalty count should be a good battle. A lot of nonsense already being spouted over the appointment of Liam Moore for this game. I tell you what, Adam, what I will say is this: Wobble will be back next week with a vengeance, because whoever loses this, there he's going to be wobbling like you wouldn't believe. The amount of Churchill's dogs coming out of the Brick Community Stadium, one way or the other on Friday night, will be unbelievable, and we will capture all of that for you next week. Don't worry about that whatsoever. But yeah, for me, Liam Moore, look, we always say, don't we? Look, referees are human; they're going to get things wrong. But does anybody on this panel really believe that referees lack integrity?
Not at all.
Not a chance.
No, I don't either. It's not worth the job. It's not worth the job. It really isn't. So for me, interesting. Rebecca Frey, she's looking forward to this weekend. Hello, Rebecca. What's she saying? Looking forward to this. Will be a good look for Hull KR and Wigan fans. Have a drink on me. Oh, outstanding. Well done, Rebecca. Always good. And of course, we'll be seeing you in the Bluebell on Thursday night. Steph's going to be coming along, Super League Raw, live from the Bluebell this Thursday night from 20:06. Join us there for, a lot of fun. We had a load of fun with the Wigan fans this week just gone. There won't be many Catalan fans, if any, but we'll be sure to get a couple of the Warrington patrons in the pub playing a few games with us, and the best possible build-up before the game. Right, we'll come back to that game in a bit because, like I said, we're not quite at that point yet. But as they've been in the chat, I thought I'd go there. Let's do a bit of hanging and banging. We'll stay on the field on the screen. Let's be quick, boys. Quick summary. And do you see it as a hanger or a banger, or a banger or a hanger, whichever way you want to see it? I'm going to start with you, Steph. Paul Rowley, incoming at Casford. These rumours are gaining pace. If Paul was to make the move, hanging and banging. Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. I'm not sure Cass is the right club for Paul, in my opinion.
So you're going...
I would say that would be hanging for Paul.
Right, fair enough, hanging for Paul. This one's for you, Mr. Scholes. A big announcement coming out of Casford this week. Massive announcement. It's no longer the Jungle. It's the One Bore Stadium. One Bore Stadium. Get your puns ready for that one next year. Hanging or banging? One Bore Stadium over the Jungle.
Hanging.
It's a comic genius's Christmas Day to call that One Bore Stadium. I have to say, it's going to be interesting to see what happens around that. I'm sure there's a few gags on the way where that one's concerned. But other good news though for Casford, Steph, hanging or banging. Winley signs a 5-year deal. He needs more game time. I wanted to see more of him this year. Banging or hanging?
That is banging for Cass. He looks like a really good prospect. I know the Cass fans really happy about that, and he's another one that could be in the mix for Young Player of the Year next season. Couldn't he? You know, he's got that kind of potential, and you know, looked really decent at KR. I thought at fullback. So, and I know that's not his natural position either. So, yeah, really good for them.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. Played very well when he was on loan at Sheffield as well. I know Craig Lingard took him over there and he had a couple of good games for them. Right, Joel, we'll come back to you. Paul Deacon added to the Wigan Warriors coaching team. Hanging or banging?
I think it's banging in a lot of cases. He's been around the game a very long time. He's been around some massive winning clubs. He knows what success is like. Hopefully, he can bring some experience to the coaching side. But of course, when ex-players come to coaching, it's either an absolute banger or it's a hanger. But I think it's good. I think it's a good acquisition.
Well, here we go. Just for Adam Reeves, there was a Wigan Warriors fan at the news that greeted it. I'm not putting it on the screen, but at the news said, this is great news because Harry Smith needs a lot of help with his kicking. Oh, God bless him. Incredible stuff. Steph, coming back to you. England women played an international against Wales 62-0. Hanging or banging?
Yeah, this is banging. Good to see them recovering from the Vegas debacle in that fixture. No, some really talented players. I know we spoke about there was, I think, 10 or 12 new players from what played in the Vegas team. That's really good for me, and it was great to see young Grace Banks, who got the Woman of the Match award at the Challenge Cup final. Lee girl, it was brilliant to see Lee Miners posting their story from a 7-year-old kid to playing for England. It was lovely to see that this week, and she had another great game as well. So yeah, really good from an England perspective, and let's hope they really start to kick on now at international level.
Yeah, I mean, hanging and banging in terms of international rugby league, though, is this fixture the right one, or should it be 2 origins? What would be better for England? 2 origins where they've got to play each other to get the positions, or these games against Wales? What's your view on that?
I think they should definitely have more origins, but I also think it's good for, sometimes you need a run out, don't you, a hit up, especially when it's a new side, that many new players. A lot of ones coming from Wigan, and I think that's a real positive as well, that they know each other's games. But no, I have no problem with them playing the close international teams just to get that confidence back. But they do need tougher tests, and they need to build up to the. But we're a million miles away from the NRL women, a million miles away at the moment. So these kind of fixtures are good for confidence, for initial thing, and because it's quite a young women's side as well. That will stand them in good stead because they're going to grow together now as well, which is great for the game.
Yeah, I heard in other quarters that the Australia game was the death of women's rugby league in the UK. Nothing like getting behind the women, is there? Do you know what I mean? We won't go there. Yeah. Unbelievable. Right, Joel, back to you. Josh Griffin heads to the York Knights. This one has been confirmed. We said last week, players of Josh's stature, great experience, going to potentially a new Super League club. Paul Vaughan's already there, of course. Regan Grace is being rumoured to go, who's a bit younger. But this is what we mean. This is what we're saying. Josh Griffin done a good job for Wakey this year. This is good. Is it? Well, I'm going to say it's good business for York. But from your perspective, if these clubs, not saying that York are coming up, but if they can attract that type of experience with younger players and what they've already got, it stands them in good stead to be perhaps competitive. Josh Griffin to York, hanging, banging.
I won't say it's good business. I'd say it's great business.
Yeah.
We would love to see a team like York in Super League. It brings a new perspective, a new fresh pair of eyes on things, and it gives the league a little bit more of a talking point. I think with having the likes of Wakefield gone down to the Championship and retained some Super League players that then came back up with them to Super League, even if York don't come up this time, that doesn't mean to say they can't or won't come up in 27, because we don't know what's going to happen in 27 yet. We've got no idea. So, providing that the plan is to move to Super League at some point, be it next year or the year after, and he's happy to wait it out, and he's got on a good contract, it is fantastic, because either way, they're going to be playing some class rugby. When you've got Vaughan and Griffo in there, I think that's a great bit of business. That's massively banging.
Yeah, and of course we know McShane's there as well. I don't know if he's hanging up his boots and going on to the coaching team at the end of this year, but yeah, I mean, and let's be fair, Mark. Do you know what? There's a part of me, and I don't know about you, I'd be happy for Mark Applegarth, because I think we all felt that it was a bit, it's worked out well for Trin bringing Dowell Power, and I get that, but I don't think Mark Applegarth was the problem at Wakefield. And I thought he handled himself like Paul Rowley's done this year with absolute class in that year that they went down. It'd be good to see Mark get another shot at Super League with York Knights, should that actually pan out. Steph, 18,000 and counting at the Brick Community Stadium. Over to you.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal effort, and I know there's lots and lots going from KR as well, as there should be with a team that's doing as well as KR. So I think everyone's excited for this one. It'd be great if they could get more than the opening round game, which was against Lee, the 21,000, I think it was. Still time for them to do that. And I think they might get there as well. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere at the Brick for what it deserves it as well. And there's nothing better than having a full away end because that really does add to the atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going back to the man earlier on who clearly doesn't get what Super League Raw was all about. We saw Alfie Sells at the start of the show, raised, getting on for $3,000 now for Alfie and his family. We're a community of rugby league supporters, and what Super League Raw does, it's the glue that brings fans from around the league together to matches, to events like grand finals. And the reason why I've took this moment just to bang that drum again, because believe you me, the members will tell you it's one of the best investments they've ever made. It's making them enjoy the rugby league even more. It's a family they never knew that they had. We've also now just had this in the chat, and I have to say, Simon Shaw, over to you to organise it. We will cover it if it happens. He's saying we need a Super League Raw Origin game, Lancashire versus Yorkshire, touch rugby. Simon, get it organised. The cameras will be down there. We will feature that. I, for one, would love that. That would be a right good laugh. No doubt about that whatsoever. So, Simon, you mentioned it. I haven't got the time to organise it, my mate. But if you can organise that, we will be there. That will be an outstanding afternoon. A couple of jars in the pub after. Should be good. Don't know about you boys. I probably need a little bit of deep eat and stuff after that if I was to put the boots back on. But hey, why not? That'd be a right good do. I wonder how many members are up for that one. And of course, men and women, if it's such, we can all get involved in that. It would be an absolute right giggle. So yeah, over to Simon. He said leave it with him. Who knows? Coming to a park near you at some point in the next 12 months could be the Super League Raw Origin Series, Lancashire against Yorkshire. Absolutely marvellous idea. Love that. Love it a lot. Right.
In the comments, put who your captain would be for each side.
Well, absolutely. Well, they'd have to sort that out amongst themselves. But
get in the comments. Get in the comments.
It'd be good. Kerry Robinson says 16 buses alone are going from the club. Outstanding. And I'm sure that's the bus for a quid as usual. Brilliant support from Hull KR on a Friday night going down to Wigan. And why wouldn't they? It's going to be an event. We're going to talk about that in a bit more detail in a few moments' time. Right, we've done the team of the month for July. It's now time to do the team of the week for round number 21. Team of the week is sponsored by The Good Estate Agent. With an average turnaround time of 3 weeks, if you want your house sold quickly, then contact Stefan today on 01942 356 577. Quote Super League Raw for 33% off. It's the Super League Raw Team of the Week for round number 21 with the Good Estate Agent for 2025. Let's go on the road. At 1 is the new model of choice, George Flanagan. And just like a BYD, he's building his dreams in 2025 in true hybrid style. His tank is always full and his pace is pure electricity. At 2 is the old reliable transit himself, Joe Burgess. When you score tries on this scale, you need lots of load space to carry them in, and yes, Joe is the backbone of Hull Kingston Rovers. At 3 is the Fabia Harry Robertson. He is quick and nimble and corners on rails. He's a photographer's nightmare as he is that fast a Kodiak struggles to keep him in clear shots. At 4, for the second week in a row, is Davy Litton, who is fast becoming a cross between a reliable courser and a combine harvester. Yes, he gets from A to B with precision, but just like a farmer with his potatoes, he has plenty of tries to pass around. At 5 is his wing partner Lewis Martin, who also keeps his place week on week. Talk about a Lamborghini. Ooh, he looks good. Ooh, he feels good. And when he puts his foot to the floor, he goes from 0 to 60 in the blink of an eye. At 6 is the former Q7 but always A1 Johnny Lomax. Since returning to stand off well, howdy partner, yeehaw! He's been lassoing opponents with assists, tries and more. Well, what did you expect from a full service history of success? At 7 is Matt Frawley, who just like a Mini and a VW Beetle appears to have relaunched and reinvented himself for the Super League public to admire. Yes, the Cowbell Army have got a little love bug, haven't they? At 8 is the surprise England pick Ethan Havard, who bulldozed his way through the wire on Friday night. You could say he exceeded expectations with an optimum performance, with Sean Wayne looking on. At 9 is the veteran who is not ready for the scrapyard just yet, Darryl Clark. Thanks to many replacement parts over the years, Darryl continues to drive the Saints down the field, crushing the opposition like he is a monster truck. At 10 is Alex Walmsley, who is the Toyota Hilux of the Super League. Why? Because he's the man to pick up those around him like King Kong to a Jessica Lange, to ensure that they rise high and look down over the competition time and time again. At 11 is a cross between illness and forestry. Yes, Joe Greenwood has really caught the eye this season in second row. Now, we're not saying he's the model of the year or he may win any awards, but if you want a V8 engine that is valued for money, then, as the great Wordsworth Heversmall would say, don't look any further, folks. At 12 is the soon-to-be discontinued Liam Farrell. But hey, whilst he's doing his final laps of the circuit, let's continue to appreciate one of the greatest second-row forwards in the modern era before he gets to his checkered flag. And finally, there is Morgan, built to order with time-honoured craftsmanship. We all know that Morgan Knowles is the 13 of choice in 2025, soon to be unveiled in the NRL. This man comes with plenty of cup holders spare for minor premierships, a grand final, or maybe even a Dally M. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your team of the week for round number 21. So there you go, the team of the week for round number 21. And we'll start with Joel because he's not had so many cowbells and a team of the week all year. There you go, mate. 3 of your boys in. Over to you.
Well, first of all, I've got to publicly apologise to Mr. Alex Sharp because I didn't agree with him at the time when he says he thought it would be a good choice for us having Matt Frawley. I was so dead against having Matt Frawley in the team. I guess I was being a bit pig-headed about it because I saw how he played when he first came to Huddersfield. How wrong was I? So apologies, Mr. Sharp, you was right. He has been an absolutely immense. He's been delightful to watch for us. It just shows, doesn't it, that it's not always so much about the player; it's about the team that you've got around you. And Matt's been absolutely fantastic for us. He's laid the plate out for people like your Flanagans and your Joe Greenwoods to give them the space to do what they do best. You look at how Joe Greenwood played. I'm not trying to make this about Huddersfield, but you saw how Joe Greenwood played. It was taking 4 or 5 players to get him down. That's playing with major confidence.
Yeah.
And seeing them in a lineup with the team like players like that you've got against like with Knowles and the likes, Walmsley's at Saints and your KRs. It's not often you see this, and it's so nice to see that we're actually starting to get a bit of commendation from people and a bit of it being in the limelight a little bit, because it's not been easy for us all season. But I think that's a very good team that you've picked there, Dave.
Yeah, and I think what's pretty ominous here, Steph, is the fact that there's 5 St Helens players in that team. We have been saying that Saints are coming on the rails. They're starting to hit some form. Not surprising considering the quality of the opposition they played in Wakefield. Wakefield have been very good all year. But I think the fact that we're seeing 5 Saints players in there, that's a warning shot, I think, for the rest of the Super League.
It is. It was, a result that few predicted, that they'd go to Wakefield and do what they did. So great to see so many Saints players in there. I'm gobsmacked there's no Leeds players in there. To come to Lee and beat Lee and no Leeds players to make that team is pretty shocking. But I'm sure the Leeds fans won't be very happy with that either. Lockie Miller was very unlucky not to get in. I thought he was phenomenal against Lee, but likewise, it was a great effort from Flanagan again. And Litton and Martin are forming a great partnership, aren't they? So good to see those two in the team of the week. And great that we are seeing Robertson and Flanagan in this team. We've had the conversation about the young players. Really good to see them getting in the side.
Yeah, I mean, look, there was a couple of Leeds players that were very nearly in, very, very close indeed. Lizone, Miller, the 2 main ones. But I think, when you factor in Huddersfield's season, when you factor in the age of Flanagan, how important that performance was for the win. Not saying, of course, that Miller's wasn't as impressive against a quality opposition in League. You've got to call them. Sometimes it really is very, very close. So you're right to pick that out. But like I say,
the quality of the game as well. That's why I'm a bit surprised, because it was a high quality game, Lee and Leeds as well.
Was, mate. I'm not disagreeing, but like I say, maybe a bit of sentiment, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, there you go. That's where we are. There you go. But for those Leeds fans, 3 points for Miller, 2 for Lizone in that game. Don't worry, they were well looked after in terms of the points that we dished out at the end of the round. Right, okay. Speaking of the end of the round and points dished out, let's get this done.
Ooh, pass me a cucumber sandwich.
Yes, it's time to just have a little dip into the Albert Goldthorpe. Let's have a quick look into it. We'll start with that game for the Leeds League game. Totally agree. Miller and Lizone, 3 and 2. Both of us give that. A League player got a point. We gave Lockie Lamb a point. Thought Lockie Lamb played well on the night. They went Tessie New. Now, I think Tessie's had a great July, and he certainly didn't have a bad game. Do I think he was a top 3 player? Don't know. Steph, your thoughts? You were there.
No, he played well. I don't think he played badly at all. He did some really good yards, but it wasn't his most outstanding of games we've seen him play for League this year. I think Lamb was the best League player on the pitch. So yeah, I wouldn't have said Tessie.
No, neither would I. Really odd at the wire. I mean, we gave Williams a point. I get the Williams one. I thought, close game, and I thought Williams really stood up for wire. I have no issue with that whatsoever. Then it gets interesting from a Goldthorpe perspective. We gave 3 for Farrell, 2 for Eckersley. That's where we went. They went 2 for Kieran, which, yeah, your space says it all. And 3 for Farrimond. Eckersley didn't even get a point. And Farrell I could understand it if Farrell gets overlooked, because he's been overlooked all season. But Eckersley was superb. So how Eckersley's not in the 3-2-1 of the Goldthorpe, I don't know. I think I will stand on my man of the match for Farrell. I thought, what more do you want? A try and assist, tackled brilliantly well in the game, did the meters, great effort from Farrell. But yeah, Farrimond. And let's be fair, you've got to be in the right place to score the tries. I get that. But the work was done for him. So the 2 tries that he got, the work was done for him by those around him. So once you take the 2 tries out of his stats and also what you saw in the game, sorry, but nah. Does anybody see Farriman as man of the match at HJ?
Not a chance.
No.
No, neither do I. Neither do I. I am right in thinking that Will Price left the field at half time at the MKM, injured. Because Ardake went to fullback, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Will Price got a point in the FC game, played half a game.
Mm.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he got 5 assists in the first half. I get that, but really, not so sure about that. And then we'll go to the Huddersfield game. No surprises, Flanagan got the man of the match. 2 points went to Gagai, Joel.
Yeah. Gagai is getting better, but that wasn't one of his best games. I presume they're giving it that for that interception that was basically a pass to him. But I thought your likes of Joe Greenwood did far better. Even Kieran Rush did better than Gagai that game, I think. But yeah, I don't know. No, not Gagai. No.
No, well, it gets worse because you've just seen Team of the Week, so it won't surprise you to know that Flanagan got 3, Frawley got 2, Greenwood got 1 from us. Matty English got a point.
He didn't do anything spectacular.
Well, he took the shot on the chin well and got up. We've got to give him his due. I have to say one of the best comments of the week, though, and we've got to say this, right? One of the best. I mean, if you could package a comment and deliver it to the Rugby Football League, it was Darryl Powell's over mitigation, the Delaney one, saying it was low-level force, and he said, "You get yourself on the end of one of them and tell me it's a low-level force." Well, well done, Darryl. Absolutely love that. Whoever's decided that's low-level force, get on the end of it, and then after, well, good on you, Darryl, lad. Outstanding effort from Darryl Powell. But yeah, there you go. Some really bizarre choices in all of that. But, there you go. It's the gift that keeps on giving, as they say. Right, let's dip into who's winning a season ticket and replica shirt and hoodie for next year. Here we go.
This is Joel Scholes with your Fantasy League update. Let's see who the movers and shakers are for this week.
Okay, so in third place we've got Alan Bagley. Third and second, should we say, getting the merch on the top, the replica shirt for next year. Come on, Alan. He's been a bit greedy there. We need to get somebody who can knock him off one of them perches. And then Stuart Scaife in pole position once again for the season ticket. So a massive well done to these guys. Consistency is clearly doing well. So as we can see, we know first, second, and third is respectively. Then we look at fourth. We've got Neil Ormston, fifth, Stuart Scaife again, and then Neil Ormston again in sixth. It's getting a bit of a pattern here, isn't it? Then we've got seventh, Stephen Broomfield, eighth, Liam Cannon, ninth, David Moore, and 10th, Stuart Scaife again. His name's coming up far too many times this week. I don't have who had the top week's points for this week, so I do apologise. That is missed out. And I don't know if have we got the top team there, Dave, or
No, we'll leave that for this week with what we've got coming up. But yeah, you're right. There's no doubt about it. Stuart, Alan, and Neil have really gone for it this season. But that said, Joel, if you look at the points, they're all still in it. You're all still in it. You know, Stephen Broomfield, he could still win this. In fact, all of them really. They're all thereabouts. So it's really game on. And again, that's why Super League Raw is different. We give back. That's what we give. So yeah, somebody's going to walk away with our season ticket for next year. Somebody's going to walk away with a replica shirt, and somebody's going to walk away with a hoodie. Very best of luck to each and every one of them as they go into it. Right, let's get into round number 22. We've got a bit more time this week as well. Obviously, we've still got to announce a little bit later in the show the player of the month for July. But hold your horses on that, folks. We'll get to that in a few moments' time. Let's find out, though, who he's currently leading the prediction league after 21 rounds. And it's Greg once again. He's pulled away by 3 points. Of course, Steph and Greg were level pegging last week. Greg's just about managed to get 3 points ahead, still game on. The members are at 287, the non-members 274, and it's really tightening up actually for fourth place because I'm on 273, Joel's on 272, and Earl's on 267. So it's getting quite interesting. But yeah, Mr. Nixon having a reasonable week last week. I think it was 17 points. I know I got 19. I think you got 14, Steph, if memory serves me right. But that's basically where it is. Right, let's get into round 22. This is where we're up to. Of course, the Robins pretty much done and dusted. If they win the big one at the Brit, we'll talk about that in detail in a moment, then it has to be said it's pretty much legally the Shield done and dusted. If the Warriors were to win it, though, well, it's still very much game on. If the Warriors do lose and the Leopards win, it's game on for second. Incredible, absolutely incredible. And Saints also, if they win and the Warriors was to lose, that's two really breathing down the neck of the Warriors. It's a fascinating week of rugby league, this one. Of course, the Rhinos go to Castleford. They should probably fancy cementing their place in the top six. And of course, the battle for sixth. FC this week against Lee. Trinity go to Salford. So that's where that is. And of course, Wire take on the Dragons. So these are the confirmed fixtures. There they are. I've just gone through them. That's how they look. We'll start with the Thursday night game. Of course, the Warrington Wolves taking on the Catalan Dragons. The squads are in. Matt Duffy returns to the squad. You'll see there that Kai Taylor-Ray has dropped out, but Stephen Ratchford, of course, deputised for Duffy last week. We're expecting Duffy to play this week. That's the expectation. Whether that happens or not, we will have to wait and see, but certainly Matt Duffy is expected to play. Looking down the Dragon squad, it's pretty much Remy Smith back in the 21, which is good to see. Nick Kotrick there as well. All in all, by Catalan standards, a pretty strong squad heading down to the HJ on Thursday night. Steph, you're going to be there. Warrington season's done, but they need to win this, don't they?
They do, and I think I mentioned it on Round Unpacked. I think the Warrington players need to be sent a message. You're playing for your starting jersey next year now, and the season isn't over for them yet, mathematically. So they've still got to put the effort in there, more for the fans than anything else. And I thought they put a real good effort in against Wigan. And Duffy coming back could give them that attacking threat a bit more as well. I think they could have done with that against Wigan. And he's someone who's got a point to prove. For he's letting the fans down more than anything through disciplinary issues at the club. So expecting him to have a big game. So Catalan they were very average, weren't they, against Huddersfield? Very, very average. They're going to want a much improved performance as well. But it's a second road game on the week for them. I expect Warrington to win this game and win it comfortably. I'm going to go Wire 9-17.
Wire 9-17 says Steph. Joel, obviously you saw Catalan in close quarters last week. You'd have watched the Wigan Warrington game. Your thoughts on this?
I did, and I think you've got a tale of two teams that have got two completely different stories here. I saw a team with Catalan who looked a bit clueless. They didn't seem to know what they were doing at any point. There seemed to be a lack of structure. No one really had a voice out there. Catalan's always pride themselves on the pack. I know at Huddersfield they've got a very good pack, but Catalan are known for having that forward pack and trying to win that forward battle. That was lost big time. Whereas you look at Wire, Wire are really slowly and steadily increasing the performances. They're getting a lot better than what we've seen over the past few months. With the possible inclusion of Matt Duffy in there, that's going to add some speed to the mix. I'm seeing with the changes of Remy Smith coming back and Kotrick coming back, it's going to hopefully give them a bit more strike. So if they weren't back in, I'd have said 18 plus, but I'm going to go wire 9 to 17 and be a bit more conservative.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting one for me this because last week I expected Wigan to do us. I really did. I was amazed at what I saw in terms of the fight that was in Warrington. I didn't expect that. Same question again for me this week is that what's the feeling in the camp? Do they still believe? Because I think once belief goes, that's when results can go against you and they can start, you can turn off and you can look to next year. And obviously, the fact of the Duffy scenario, what's gone on there it's an head scratcher. It really is. For me, I've gone wire 1 to 8. I've not got a 9-17 as when we went to Catalan and we were expected to win comfortably in Catalan. Got off to a great start, if you remember. And then we just, second half, which is typical of Warrington this season, second half, for whatever reason, just not getting the job done. Not as bad as Huddersfield's been, Joel, but do you know what? A lot of similarities. Warrington have been in good positions in so many games at half time. And then second half, for whatever reason, have just not got the job done. Very, very similar in Catalan. So I'm going wire 1 to 8. The members have gone wire 9 to 17. We'll get the non-members when it goes live on the website in time for the captain's run. Let's go in the chat. Right, let's. A lot of people are getting involved on this one. John Wilkinson, wire 9 to 17, up to have your company, John, on Thursday night in the Bluebell, sir. Aidan Simpson, wire 9 to 17. Kerry Robinson, Warrington 1 to 8. Nige Bennett, wire 9 to 17. Any love for Catalan? Rebecca Frey, 9 to 17 there for the wire. Tom Masser, 18 plus for wire. He's going big. Gary Bowe's gone 18 plus as well. Danny Walker's made a difference, says Don Kirby. Couldn't agree with you more, Don. Couldn't agree with you more. If Danny Walker's not injured this season, Warrington are in and around the 6. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Heather Bailey, wire 1 to 8. Hello, Heather. Great to have you back this week. Great to have you as part of the membership. Hoping you're enjoying the WhatsApp group and everything that goes with it. Right, okay, let's get to it. It's Friday night, and it's only right that we get back into this and the detail around it. I want to go back to what Willie Peters said, Joel, in his press conference, that he's really tried to galvanise the English contingent in his squad because Sean Wayne is there. Sean Wayne is there. Last week he's at Warrington. So, can't remember what other game. It was Wakey against Saints. So he's not watching Wakey Saints. He's live. He's watching Wigan live. He watches Wigan live. This is an opportunity for Mikey Lewis and co. to go, hello, Sean, remember me. And I think that's fantastic. I think that's exactly the right message to the English contingent. Go and show Sean Wayne that you are an Ashes player. What a great way to motivate your side.
Yeah, and there's another side to it as well, that clearly he's very well invested in the English squad and the team, and he wants to show Mr. Wayne exactly what players he's got at his disposal and just how great they are. So I love that he's getting behind his boys and he wants them to progress. Clearly, you can see, because we've talked about this culture over and over again, this is all part of it. Seeing a coach, seeing the potential in his players that can push on to bigger and better things. We need to be seeing players like Mikey in the England team. Is he going to get there? Unfortunately, we don't think he is, because you know what Sean Wayne's like. However, if he puts in a stellar performance here, Sean has to think then at what's going on. If he doesn't pick him, and if he plays well and he doesn't pick him, questions will have to be asked of Sean Wayne, not of Mikey Lewis and co. But I think that's a great bit of business from Willie Peters to make sure that he's spearheading that England squad selection and trying to get them within a shot of that chance.
Yeah, he was hinting that there's one slight concern in his press conference. Didn't say it was, but like I say, he did speak as if Mikey was playing. So that, because when he was talking about Steph, the opportunity to shine in front of Sean Wayne, he was using Mikey as the example. Be a bit strange for him to do that and then Mikey not play. So that would suggest to me Mikey Lewis plays this game, which is great for the neutral, especially if Bevan French comes back. The last 2 minutes still going toe to toe. Wonderful, fantastic fair that's going to be. I mean, the thing for me is, Steph, is, Matt Pete in his press conference playing it down a little bit. Willie Peters did as well. Nothing's won on Friday night. Of course it's not. But from a Wigan Warriors perspective, I think that even Wigan fans probably are sitting there thinking it's now about Old Trafford. It's not really about the league leaders. They're probably keeping the powder dry where it comes to the league leaders' shield. Who's the pressure on here? Is the pressure on KR? Is the pressure on Wigan? Who do you think the most pressure's on?
I think there's pressure on both sides in different ways. I think there's been a lot of talk about Wigan this year, which they will probably feel is unjustified. But I think from a neutral point of view, it's easy to see that Wigan have been nowhere near where they were last season, and they still sat in second, which is a compliment to them. They can still not be as good. They've missed Bevan French massively. That's without a doubt. There's no side that wouldn't miss Bevan French massively. My concern for Wigan is that I still don't think they were 80% against Warrington when they played, and that's not taking anything away from Warrington. I thought were great. I just don't think they're there yet. And I think if you bring Bevan in, he's been out for a long time. He's not going to come in and well, I'm not going to say he's not because he could. He's Bevan French. He could. I'd be very surprised if he comes in and hits the ground running. It takes a lot when you've been out for that amount of time. And I think he's key to Wigan. The spark being back in that team. KR got a massive point to prove. They need to set a marker down if they want to go into the grand final. If they get there with confidence, I think this is a huge game for them, and I think they're more capable of doing it. I think it's a huge game, and more so in that environment as well. It's going to be very hostile. Nearly 20,000, maybe 20,000 plus attendance. It's a big game. It's a real big game. And people mentioned earlier about Mikey going away in big games, so that's going to be a fascinating. It's one for him. Peters is absolutely right. Sean Wayne's going to be there. If you want to be in the Ashes side, he needs to light up the Brit community for me this week and really show why he should be the starting six for England. So yeah, it's what every rugby league fan's going to be tuning into this game on Friday night.
It's box office.
Yeah,
it's box office. I mean, for me, look, it's very rare that I really get into detail on weekly. I let you guys talk mostly, but it's such a big game. I'm getting involved, lads. Forgive me. I'm getting involved, boys. I'm getting involved. I think the pressure's on KR, which is odd to say. In fact, there's pressure on both. I agree with Steph, but let me explain why there's pressure on KR. KR have to beat Wigan. They have to beat them. If I'm a KR fan, and we said this on Final Whistle, I don't think this will come into effect. I think if KR's in the final, I don't think both will get the final. I think there's an upset coming in the semis. I really do. So if KR's in the final, they probably don't have to worry about Wigan. But for me, if I'm wrong, and it was a Wigan KR final, and Wigan was to win this, and they're still holding that hoodoo over KR, that ain't great. That ain't great because I don't care. Mentally, sport is mental. It is, and the longer this streak happens, he's going to put more and more pressure on KR, and you don't want that amount of pressure at OT. If they beat Wigan this Friday, that's gone. And like I said, it's then game on if these two were to meet at OT because that's gone. They've got the Challenge Cup under the belt. They probably get the league leaders as well because they beat Wigan, so they'd win the league leaders. They'd be going for the treble, which would be unbelievable. So for me, I think KR need to win it for that reason. That said, there's a bit of pressure on Wigan. There's a lot of Wigan fans saying, it's all about the grand final, this, that, the other. How much pressure suddenly gets onto Wigan if Lee pip him for second? Because that's why it's pressure for Wigan. Wigan lose this, they are being, and not all Saints. Let's be fair. Everybody's writing Saints off at the start of the season. Look at where those. What's that?
Leeds as well.
Yeah, but not. But where Wigan are concerned, the two that would sting them would be if Saints or Lee overtook them, not Leeds. I think if you ask a Wigan fan, they wouldn't be happy. But it's Leeds, fair enough. But if the Leopards, the Battle of the Borough, the 2-1 down in that, if the Leopards was to pinch their pocket for a second, all of a sudden, that's pressure. Because I think the Wigan fans would have a bit of a problem with that. Not winning the Shield, I don't think they do. I think I think they won't like it. Of course they won't. They'd rather win it than not. But for them, their attention has gone to grand final. If suddenly Lee overtaken, that's a whole different ball game. Wigan aren't going to be happy about that. And if Saints was to do it, the way Saints started the season, in the middle of the season, if Saints was to come from nowhere on the rail and overtake Wigan, imagine what happens then. So, even though I think Wigan might be comfortable not winning the League Leaders' Shield, if they lose this on Friday, they've now really got game on for second. And that from a win, and I'd be interested in the chat to hear from the Wigan fans. For me, that's a whole different ball game. I can't see Wigan fans being too enamoured if they fall out the top two to a League or a Saints. What do you think, Joel?
I'm smiling because I feel like it has to happen. I feel like Lee need to jump into second because it'll start putting some respect on Lee's name, which from most of the league it does. But there's this silly moniker of this bus stop in Wigan. And I know it's joking, but if Lee can jump ahead and beat them at that, then the mind games start kicking in for the playoffs. And then does your confidence get knocked? Because Wigan's not been in out of the top two for a long time. And in the playoffs, they're always really strong. So if you see a team like Lee competing, which they are doing, and we expect them to be in the top three regardless, then all of a sudden game's on and Wigan are in a territory that they're not really used to. And then are we going to see a different type of potential Old Trafford appearances?
Well, I mean, Si Shaw's saying it's about peaking at the right time, but Saints are peaking at the right time. Lee are peaking at the right time. Leeds are not going away. KR, so it's too easy to say that. What Wigan have got is they've been there, done it, and they've got the T-shirt. The other thing as well where Wigan are concerned, lads, is, let's be fair, they've got to come up against Saints, and they've got to come up against Trin, and they've got to come up against Leeds. So this is why it's fascinating. It's really fascinating because as much as I think they're very calm at the moment where the League Leaders' Shield's concerned, but in the next 3 or 4 weeks, real pressure could be coming on to Wigan for the first time in a long time. And is that why Deakin's been brought in? Are they feeling it? I don't know. Whoever that was who's done the QR code, thank you. Hopefully you're going to become the next member here at Super League Raw. It'd be great to have your company on the Final Whistle podcast coming forward. Right, let's just carry on for a few moments more. I'll tell you the one that on the edges, I think KR have got the advantage. I think Burgess and Davis are in far better form. That said, I think the way Eckersley dispatched Jake Fulis at the weekend just gone, that battle on that side, it will be Burgess, won't it? Burgess and Eckersley. I think that's going to be a fascinating tussle. But for me, as good as Liam Marshall was last year, he's not been as good this year. Advantage Davis on the right-hand side, would we say?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. Joel?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then, of course, one man that we're not talking about who might return for the Warriors that will be a massive return will be Luke Thompson in terms of the middle unit. I think they do miss Thompson. They do miss him. Let's be fair, he is arguably their number one front rower. No question asked. If he was to return, that could be quite seismic, I think.
Yeah, the Wigan's always been built on a strong middle, hasn't it? And that will get the go forward and the backs build off the back of it. So if they get Thompson back as well as French, that's a dream combo for them, isn't it? So massive for them, but it's a big if, isn't it? We don't know for certain either of those players are going to play. I do expect French to come back, whether it's a week too early for Thompson, I'm not sure.
More and more people doing the QR code. Thank you very much indeed. Hopefully you're going to become members. Thank you very much. And hopefully you've enjoyed the entertainment. That's what it's all about. Come and join the community. You think the shows are good? Wait until you become a part of the community. That's a whole different level altogether. That is where the real magic is, ladies and gentlemen. Just ask the Saints fan who said, Saints are magic earlier in the season. Super League Raw is magic. That's what I would say. Where's Paul Daniels when you need him? Anyway, but yeah, unbelievable game. Unbelievable game. I just can't wait for this. Let's hope it doesn't disappoint. I'm sure it won't. And you know what? Both are very, very capable of scoring some wonderful tries. I just think it's going to be outstanding. Let Rugby League be right on cue. Baz at Kingston back in the Super Chat. Let Rugby League be the winner on Friday night. And it sounds like quite a few Super League Raw members are going to be getting together for that game. Fantastic. They're all going to be meeting beforehand. If you saw the titles, that's where we all meet up together. Great camaraderie, great fun, outstanding. Right, Steph, which way are you going?
I'm going to go KR 9-17.
Oh, a big win for KR. Wow,
Oh.
indeed, Joe. That is a big call, Mr. Sale. That is a big, big call. 9-17 for Steph. Yourself, Joe?
That is huge, yeah. I think if there's the potential of Bevan French coming back for this game, if he does, I think that adds certainly a big dynamic and dimension to the squad. But I can't see past KR. I'm going to go with my old mate Bazza and fly the Robin flag for this one. But I'm seeing it as a 1-8. I think it's going to be a little bit closer. Wigan have to pull the socks up for this one, and no doubt they're going to do.
Wow. Yeah, well, Greg, he went Wigan 1-8. I'm agreeing with Greg. I'm going the other side. I'm on the cherry and white. I think they're going to throw a grenade here. Just what Wigan do. I don't think it's going to be pretty as well from Wigan. I could be wrong, but I think they might just get this one done. And if they do, it's fascinating. The season continues to be fascinating. So I'm going to go Wigan 1-8 alongside Greg. Greg went 9-17 the wire as well. Look, in the chat, I mean, AD Simpson's got 18 plus Wigan. Obviously, trying to get under the skin of the Robins fans on the chat, as AD does. Anybody else for any more? A lot of people chatting on this. KR 1-8 said Richard Fewless, Tom Massa, KR 9-17. He's in there as well. So, yeah, quite a few in the chat. Look, it's a toss of a coin. 9-17. I saw somebody put in there, let it be golden point. How good would that be? Oh, that'd be joy. It won't be for KR and Wigan fans, but it'd be great for us neutrals. Oh, yes, outstanding.
Wigan need to be a lot better than they were at Wire. If they want golden point, Wigan will have to be a lot better than they played against Wire.
Like, all I would say is if it goes to golden point, I'd be more happy than Bazza Kingston when he was sunbathing with all that oil all over himself in the back garden. Tell you, rubbing over me, baby. It'd be absolutely outstanding, is what that would be if it was a golden point fest. We'll take that. Right, let's move on. Casford Tigers. Casford Tigers against Leeds. Anybody see any issues here for the Leeds Rhinos, or do you expect Leeds to go back? Get another win. Brad Arthur, of course, the feel-good factor there. What are you going on this one, Steph?
Yeah, I think Leeds were phenomenal against Lee. Really, really good. They're a side that are peaking at the right time. Buoyed by the news, Brad Arthur. I think they're really going to put on a show. I'm going Leeds 18 plus.
Yeah, I've gone the same. Joel, your view on it, mate?
Yeah, I just see a far too strong of a Leeds Rhino squad. This is going to be an 18 plus for Leeds, and another bad week for Castleford. And I hope it's Leeds 18 plus for my sake alone.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting, no doubt about it. But yeah, you're going Leeds 18 plus. Reggie has gone the Rhinos 9-17. The members, they are currently sitting on, where are you? You're sitting 18 plus as well for the Rhinos. So everybody liking that. Nigel Bennett has gone Cass 1-8. Fingers crossed. There you go. But pretty much everybody going the way of Leeds 9-17, 18 plus. Nobody's seen a Leeds 1-8 looking at this. So the vast majority are saying it's going to be Leeds by at least 9-17. It's hard to disagree with them. Right, let's now go to the other big one. MKM, Hull FC taking on the Lee Leopards. This should be a game. We know nothing out. And to be fair, we don't really, other than a professional performance that FC put on Salford, we don't really know where FC are at. If FC are going to get that sixth spot, we're going to find out what minerals they've got on the weekend against Lee, because this is a real tussle. If there was to turn over Lee, then all of a sudden I might change my mind in terms of who's favourite FC in Trinity to finish in that sixth spot. We know that Waking will get to them. They're taking on the Salford Red Devils. In fact, let's box that off really quickly. Are we all going Wakey Trin 18 plus?
Yeah,
we are.
Yes.
The only thing that's making me nervous about that Salford Wakey one, and this is a plea to all of the Salford fans that are going down there. We know that tensions are high. There's this march that's taking place before the game against Wakefield. No issue with that. If it was my club, I'd want answers. The statement was a disgrace yesterday. Absolute disgrace. No accountability still. Even talking about how many fans you're getting through a turnstile. They're just not judging the room at all. Whoever their marketing manager is, if they have one, whoever agreed that press release, wow, that's done nothing to fan the flames. But look, make it a peaceful protest. Yes, by all means, make sure your voices are heard. But come on, make sure that you are better than the people that are running your club. That's my plea to you. Be better than the people running your club. Do it with style, do it with class. That's what it's all about. We wish you nothing but the very best of luck, Salford Red Devils. Right, let's talk FC Lee. Joel, I'll start with you. Like I said, from a Hull FC perspective, big game this. This is about minerals. This is about, are they really in it for can they get the sixth? Your view on the game, mate, and which way it's going to go?
Yeah, we've not seen. Well, personally, I've not seen enough from them this season to know whether they've got it in them to beat a team like Lee. I know that it's possible on the day. They have shocked us with some performances, but they've also been quite predictable with some as well. Though they are running very high on confidence, especially after this last weekend. I know it was Salford, but no matter who you're playing, when you score like that, it gives you some confidence. Whether you think it does or doesn't, it just does. You can't help that. But then they realise that they're coming up against a much stiffer opposition against Lee, which is, in different universes. So I think Lee are gonna really put the foot down. I see it as a Lee 9-17. I'm not going to go 18 plus because Hull FC have got it in the bag to pull something out there. But yeah, I can't see anything but a Lee win.
Steph?
I think this is going to be the closest game of the round. I think the Wigan KR one's obviously going to be the one where all the attention's on. But people need to remember this FC side went to Lee and battered them, and put a really good score on them. And at the game KM, it was a draw early in the season as well. So Lee haven't won against FC this season, even though it's a loop fixture. I could see this going either way. I think it's going to be. This could be a golden point game. I'm going to go Lee 1-8, just because it's my side. But do not be surprised if FC win this game.
Nige Bennett, 18 plus to Lee. You'd set that all day long, wouldn't you, Mr. Sale? Asiata, man of the match, says Simo, FC 1-8. I'll tell you now, and I mean this in all sincerity, had Lee have won against Leeds, I'd have been tempted to back FC. I really would have done. I'd have been really tempted to back FC for this. I think the fact that they lost last week against Leeds, that could be the fuel that is required to get them over the line. I'm with you, Steph. I'm seeing it at 1-8. I think it's going to be a really close game, but I think off the back of a defeat, I think that's going to galvanise them into moving forward on this. That's my view. I could be right. I could be wrong. I don't know why I've been looking at the league for so long, but there you go. Getting distracted. But yeah, that's how I see it. I'm going to go Lee 1-8 in this one, as are you, Mr. Sale. And then the last one, again, great game. Saints hosting the Huddersfield Giants. Good game, this one should be. Have you seen enough from your Huddersfield Giants to suggest that you could go to the Totally Wicked and derail them? Or are you expecting a gallant defeat, Mr. Scholes?
I've seen enough for us to know that it won't be a blowout. I'm quite confident to say, I don't think we're going to get absolutely hammered. But the way Saints are playing and to go to Saints is difficult on any day, even when Saints aren't playing the best. So I'm going to go Saints 9-17. But I don't think we're going to disgrace ourselves. I think we're going to put up a fight as best we can and ensure that we still have something left in the tank for the season, even though there's not much to play for. I think we're dying to try and get the 9th spot if we can. And this will be one of the great stepping stones for
Fair
it.
enough. Right, Steph, St. Helens against Huddersfield. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a great win for Huddersfield. We're all made up for Joel and Greg Roach and Ryan and all the Giants crew this week. I think going to Saints is a different kettle of fish with the way Saints are playing at the moment. I think it's going to be 18 plus Saints, unfortunately. But I think it's not going to be a 30-point plus win. I think it's going to be like a 24-4 kind of game. So just getting over that 18 points. I hope I'm wrong. But I just, the way Saints are playing and the confidence they've got at the moment, and being at home, I think they're just going to score three more tries than Huddersfield in this game.
And are you going on Friday for Mr. Fourth?
Friday?
Yeah, I think he's asking there. Are you going to the game? Are you coming to the Wigan KR game?
No, he's not. He's on about the whole league game. I think he's on
Oh,
about.
is that what he's on about? Oh, right. My apology. Are you going to that one?
At the moment, no, because I'm working.
Oh dear, never mind. Not to worry. Greg has gone 9-17. The Saints. Rebecca Freight's gone the way same way. Phil Webster. Not an awful lot of love here for the Huddersfield Giants. A lot of them going 9-17 or 18 plus. Beware of St. Helens. I think it's an 18 plus. I think they are looking pretty dangerous. I really do. And if they win this by 18 plus, beware of the Saints is what I would say. Right, interesting times. Great chat, great debate. Of course, we're back for the captain's run when we'll get into more analysis on these 6 games. And of course, some key head-to-heads, again, supported by statistics and data. We'll give you a great glide path into that fixture on Thursday. It'll be a little bit earlier. It'll be 4 o'clock. I don't know if it's going to be live either, because yours truly and Steph will be doing a live on the same night at the Bluebell, because of course Warrington take on Cattle on Thursday and we've got to get ourselves over there. So we will be recording the captain's run probably. It'll be going out at about 4 o'clock. It'll be there for you to watch at your leisure, but we will be live from the Bluebell at 6:20 on Thursday night. I believe we've got a couple of guests as well, and they're going to be coming. I've just had a note from one of the owners of the Bluebell to ask a favour of us, which we're more than happy to do. So yes, make sure that if you go into the game, if you're a Warrington fan, come to the Bluebell, come and see what we do at the Bluebell before Warrington Wolves games, and come and join the fun. Right, okay, it's the final part of the evening. We're going to announce, before we go very quickly, who is our player of the month for July. Get your names in the chat now. It's the 1 to 13. To remind you, Saylor, Lachlan Walmsley, Tessie New, Jake Wardle, Joe Burgess, Max Jowett, Mason Leno, Caius Fiatelli, Brad O'Neill, Alex Walmsley, George Lawler, Jed Cartwright, and Isaac Liu are your picks. Joel, of those players, who would you pick and why?
Sorry, Dave, I had some screaming in the background there. I couldn't hear a word of what you said.
Who would you pick as your player of the month for July and why?
Oh, player of the month, right. I am... it's between Mr. Wardle, Burgess, and Saylor. I'm going to go for Mr. Burgess.
Radio, Steph.
It's a difficult one, this, isn't it?
It is. It's hard this month. It was hard team together as well.
I'm going to go Walmsley.
You're going Walmsley's been outstanding. Walmsley's been outstanding all through the season. We've got Liu, we've got Saylor, we've got Burgess, we've got New, we've got Burgess again. A lot of people going Joe Burgess. Yes, and Craig Forth saying it's a great build up to the game in the Bluebell. Get yourself down there. Right. Okay. It's now time, and I'm going to make sure that I press the right button. It's now time to announce who is the Super League Raw Player of the Month for July. So the Super League Raw Player of the Month for July is Tessie New of the Lee Leopards. A try and assist, 31 bus, 3 breaks, 64 carries, 588 metres. Now, I know a lot of people will agree. Some will completely disagree. Let me explain to you why Tessie New was selected. Of course, Lee have gone on an unprecedented 4-game winning streak against some of the competition's bests with a pack that was light. Tessie New has not only played solid performances as centre, but throughout those games has almost played as a prop, as well as a centre. And I don't believe, without Tessie New and his versatility and the damaging runs, 588 metres from 64. This isn't a Tristan Saylor who got over 600, which is a back on the edges. These were down the middle. A lot of these were down the middle carries when the likes of the front rowers, the likes of Offengarry, etc., are having a break. And he has given them a break and has kept them moving downfield. And of course, who can forget that wonderful break against Hull KR? But that's not the reason why he's got it. He's got it because of what he's done. He's almost played 2 roles for the Leopards in that winning streak. And it's that level of detail that I'm going into. And that's why I just felt he was the one. The reason why the Lee, or one of the big reasons why the Lee Leopards won 4 from 4 was Tessie New and what he did. I don't think you're going to disagree with that, Mr. Sale.
No, he's been outstanding for Lee, and everyone's been talking about him. I think he was a real breakout month for Tessie. Not the Lee fans have seen how good he's been all season, but I think Super League's seen how good he's been in July. Everyone's been talking about him. Yeah, been putting on a show, hasn't he? So yeah, no, he's had a really good July and really promising for Lee going forward. People forget as well, he's only 23. So he's, for me at the moment, he should be in the dream team centres.
Well, it's his to lose for me. I think he's absolutely been there, no doubt about it. Joel, I know you're impressed with Tessie New. Would you agree he has been incredibly versatile and a big reason why Lee got those 4 wins?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He's been instrumental in a lot of things that Lee's done, and I love how versatile he is. He's not a utility player, but he clearly has been playing a bit of a utility. And I'm not surprised at all, as you rightly said. We've been singing his praises all season long. I certainly have, and he's been an absolute wonder to watch. So it very much deserved, and not surprised in any way.
Fantastic! What a show, boys! What a show! That has been an incredible show. You can imagine how much time that's took to put together, but it's been absolutely worth it. Reggie back next week, I believe. I'm hoping he is. Did he go on a Tuesday? He might be back, he might not be. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But we certainly will be back. Enjoy an incredible round of Rugby League. Roll on Friday night. It's the big one. Wigan against KR. Make sure you tune into the Captain's Run on Thursday. And, of course, live from the Bluebell also on Thursday. From all of us on screen to you, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week for more Super League Roll Weekly, because you can't beat a bit of weekly. Bye for now. Here are your top performers after 21 rounds of the Betfred Super League. We have a new top try scorer after his 4 tries against Salford. Lewis Martin has now got 20. Still leading the try assisting charts is Lachlan Lamb. He's now on 30. Whilst the most metres made in Super League is Lockie Miller, 3,209 and counting. The most clean breaks have now come from Joe Burgess and Mikey Lewis. They're tied on 24. Whilst the top tackler is still Oliver Parkinson of Catalan Dragons, 862. The top tackle buster taking over from Tessie New is Lachlan Miller again, 132 for the Rhinos. Whilst the most high metres made still come from Alex Walmsley, 2,657 metres. The most offloads are still Tane Mill of Huddersfield Giants on 42. And finally, the most goals in Super League have still come from Artur Morg of the Robins on 71. These are your top performers after 21 rounds.